Good morning, y'all. This is Robert from Riverside Country Club, and I talked to you last weekend about I was wanting to do a devotional on Sundays, and I'm wanting to continue that, but right now lost my dad yesterday, I lost my dad Saturday afternoon, about 4:30. He was 90 years old, and I know nobody on here knew, except some of my friends that's watching, but he was a great man. And he was a great man to a lot of people, to his family and friends. He loved with unconditional love. And there again, mostly for his family and friends, and those in the church family. But, you know, I know that he's in heaven right now. Me and him walked the aisle together in Hampton, Virginia, back in 1968, give or take a year. I can't remember things. And we walked the aisle then and was baptized. And, you know, my dad wasn't a perfect man. But you know what? I ain't either. And I bet you're not either. But he loved God, and he loved his family. And I can't say it enough. He loved people with unconditional love, man. It's like, you know, just, I'm sure y'all probably know of somebody like that. And I don't have anything written down. I'm just talking to you from my heart. And I hope I don't ramble on too much. But there's a lot of things I'd like to say about my dad. And I'll be doing that maybe once a week. We'll see. But of course, I loved my dad. He did so much for me. And I mistreated him some too. It's just part of growing up. It's not, I'm sorry. It's just part of growing up. It's not acceptable. You shouldn't do it. You shouldn't take advantage of people, and you shouldn't, especially family and everything. But, I did take advantage of my parents' love for me at times, and, I'm ashamed of that now. There's some things I have in mind in particular I'm not going to mention, but I've talked to them about it, and, they forgave me. And the last, I took my dad over to the emergency room on a Wednesday, and little did I know in my opinion, I'm no doctor, but it just seemed like he went down from Wednesday up until he died. He had I don't know the full medical term, but it's something like a partial bowel obstruction. For days, I would just, me and my sisters and my mother was over there, and of course visitors and stuff, but you know, the last few days there, the only conversation that I had was, was it comfortable? And could I do anything for him? And he'd just tell me, "No, son, I'm all right." But I just love right now to sit down and have a cup of coffee with him again. I think about that a lot because I'd go over there and see him, at various times during the day. They lived right next door. Of course, Mom's still there, but they lived right next door to me, and I'd go over there, and he'd always ask me, "Where's the meat?" Because because he'd know I was either hunting, fishing, trapping, doing something, but he couldn't hardly keep up with me. But he always knew what the river was doing, when they drive to town, going to church or something. He'd, talk about, well, the river's falling or the river's going up. And be like, yeah. And, but he loved to hunt and fish too. And, of course, it got harder for him to do both, really. And, man, I tried my best to set up another fishing trip for him, and I wasn't able to do that because the river, when it did go down, the bank and everything, it's kind of steep, and it was so muddy. I mean, he wasn't very sure-footed, last few months, and I certainly didn't want to get him down there and get him hurt or something, but, we never got to take that last fishing trip. But, I got great memories of my dad. He was a big-time military man. He went into the Army when he was 17. He lied about his age to get in. Stayed a couple years in the Army and then went in the Air Force. Has spent 20 some odd years, in the Air Force, and had the Army before. So, but I mean, he always had a heart for the military and our troops, and I'll be talking about that later on too. But I just kind of want the world to know how great my dad was. And I appreciate you guys. And I'll get back to the devotional. It may be, well, it'll probably be a few more days. I don't know. We have to work out the arrangements today, this morning. But anyway, guys, just come back and listen to my stories about my dad. And I try not to make my videos very long. This one's kind of going too long, but victory in Jesus. I mean, Dad was a Christian. Dad knew Jesus as our Lord and Savior, and I have no doubt that he's in the hands of God today. And visiting with his my grandparents, his parents that have went before, and just so many people, his brothers and everything. And I'd love to see what he, you know. But anyway, God love you. Think about life. Think about your family. Don't let it come down to, death and before you make amends, so to speak, and everything. But and we didn't. I mean, me and my dad, we got along. Uh, yeah, I wished I'd spend a lot more time with him now. Those times I could have stayed and talked, kept talking, but I had some things I need to do, and I just, but right now, I just love to have that time back. But I'm so glad to have the time that I did with my dad. And I'm just hoping and praying I can pass that on to my kids, to instill that in them, not to be selfish, but to give like my dad gave, unconditional love. All right. I'll see you guys later. Thank you.